space, the thing we have to cross. These are the voyages of the U.S.S. Horizon. Its ongoing mission, to seek out new life, to swear it was on stun the whole time, and to boldly claim we can fix it.
Welcome back to the second episode of our Star Trek Adventures campaign. We're back playing Star Trek Adventures, returning to the living campaign. It's like 22 or more episodes deep now. This is getting heavy in the canon. I am Justin Ecock, your game master for this evening. We are playing this game, of course, because you voted for it. We are putting up these games now every month on our Patreon page. There is a new poll out each month where you can choose which game we will play next. Now, we might change the rules around a little later, like if we have a particular guest or a special game we want to play. I'll just like, that monthly poll, it's now running for 2 months instead of one. But this poll ran in September. One of the options was Star Trek Adventures. You chose it overwhelmingly. And so we are here playing this game. I have brought back to our game Brent, Morris, and Velvet Duke from our Horizon crew. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. And you have been reassigned to the U.S.S. Revelation with Neil. Hi, Neil.
Hello. Howdy.
Hi. And each of you are playing, of course, Brent.
I'm playing Steve Armstrong.
Yeah, the helmsman. We're going to give you something to do here. And I say that every week. It never happens.
It could happen. It could.
You're like Jake Sisko. Just go away for a couple of years and come back when you're useful.
Write a report about it.
I'm a writer now.
I'm a journalist, Dad. And Velvet.
I am Lieutenant Bolasa, Science Officer Supreme.
I work your ass off. You're the one who's always every time. Come on, can't I just go fight something? And maybe helping to lighten the workload this time, fellow science officer.
Lieutenant Commander Teth Chovaquil.
Chovaquil. And so we've arrived at Alpha Troyu. Things are dire, but not like holy shit dire. The star is collapsing. It shouldn't be. It is. That's weird. We've discovered a sensor shadow somewhere deep inside the star that may be causing strange orbital patterns of the debris that orbits the star, but it's not giving off any mass, so it shouldn't be doing that. Meanwhile, on the surface of the planet, there's lots of like a breathable atmosphere in some of the caverns. The caverns seem to be cut in interesting ways, and the devices or the artifacts being brought up onto the ship, I mean, Armstrong missed it, but the audience didn't, are glowing blue, actually in a similar way to the orbital platforms, the way they kind of flicker and flash. Like if we're watching the special effects on TV, we're noticing the parallels and stuff.
Oh, man.
But here in Act 2 of our story, Captain Riga has connecting with Lieutenant Amos, who's in command of the McGowie, who was part of representing the Corps of Engineers, who was helping out with the archaeologists on Troyu 2. We meet here in a conference room briefing. The three of you walk in. Amos is already on the view screen he's over on his ship. He's on the view screen, already debating with Riga, who we've determined off episode is an Ephrodsian. If you want to look into the classic original series movies, the Ephrodsian is only really seen twice on screen and is the president of the Federation. And they've written extensively about them in books. And so our captain, Janeway-style commander, is an Ephrodsian herself. So she's got this like long white hair and very like we bunned up with a big wooden clip or something, and it's all kind of holding it together, and it's very stern but also approachable in a way. Like the door is always open, says the person who's always sitting at the desk, and you don't want to go in that room even though it is always open. You know you can always go to it, but you know you're also going to have to like argue for your life because Ephrodsians are expert linguists and navigators and diplomats, and so all the things you need to do to navigate a crew of very strong-headed scientists, researchers. Am I right? So you walk in, and the two of them are debating about the timeline. In fact, as this is happening in the opening episode, I would hand this to the captain player, but we don't have one, so I'll read it as behalf of Captain Riga. Captain's log supplemental. My officers have determined that Alpha Troyu will undergo final gravitational collapse in less than 10 hours. Lieutenant Amos of the Corps of Engineers assures me that getting both the people and artifacts off the planet will require days more. If it comes down to it, people's lives are what matters. but we will stay in orbit until the end to preserve what history we can. And that's exactly what they're arguing as they walk in. We'll stay as long as we can and preserve what we can, but people's lives are what matters most. We will evacuate the people first before we bring up more. She's getting mad that more and more shuttles are coming onto the Revelation with only 2 or 3 passengers packed up with artifacts. It's like, put people on the lifeboats. Leave the stuff down there until we get everyone off planet first. And, Amos is like, I get it, I understand, but they're not listening. They're doing their own thing. And that's the kind of conversation you hear as the 3 of you come in. Good, you're all here. You're the brains of this operation, and shuttlecrafts. We need more time than we have. We need to speed up this evacuation. And I'm open to our ideas. Anything you might have to suggest. And Amos has some suggestions as well.
Amos has some suggestions?
Yeah.
Well,
he's talking about the transporter systems. Transporters are a problem because of all the gravimetric stellar flares coming from a collapsing star. So transporters aren't working, but we might be able to help the archaeologists by using the transporters to bring up their artifacts, and we use the shuttles to bring up the people. And if we just tell them they're only going to come up to the maybe they'll acquiesce to that. And he's like, I don't know if the transporters are even going to work, though.
No, we got to at least give it a try. I mean, that's a good idea to try and bring up anything that's not a person up in transporter as much as we can.
If only we had an Intrepid, we could land on the planet. But the last one that was built went missing a few weeks ago.
What?
The Voyager's gone missing.
Gotcha.
And Intrepids can do planetfall.
What if...
So can the Enterprise. It just doesn't get up again.
Dun, 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 dun. Troy is the one who crashed the ship into the planet.
What if we made a couple
successfully
trips
saved it
with the shuttlecraft loaded up with artifacts and kind of left them in low orbit?
If we did what?
Like took a couple shuttlecraft loads full of just stuff and not people.
Yeah.
Packed them full. Shot them out the back of the shuttle so they're sort of floating in orbit there. And maybe we can tractor them into the cargo bay later.
I mean that still requires, like, the round trip of a shuttle from surface to orbit and from surface to Revelation, which is already in low orbit, is like, at that point you might as well just put the shuttle back on board.
Fair enough.
Are we already, the time spent is the land and escape.
We got tractor beams on the Nova. So I was thinking if...
You got tractor beams on just about everything.
Yeah, if we could pull...
I mean, the tractor beams...
Like dump the cargo...
Yes.
Yeah,
it
doesn't
sound
super like normal, but it seems...
We're running out of time.
Yeah, agreed.
I actually, that was a similar idea that I had, which was some relay system that you're ejecting the artifacts into space somehow. Tractor beam or teleport or...
If maybe the crew is essentially kind of, as rocking a spacesuit, to be able to open up the thing as soon as they're free, dump it all out into space for a little while, head themselves back in, close everything up, head them back downstairs, and try and grab some more back up again.
I mean, Riga wants to know if the transporters can be used to bring up living people, if we can strengthen the signals. I would definitely speed things up. Right now, they're not reliable, but
also,
surely there must be a way to strengthen
to strengthen them enough to get into the caverns, so we could go from at least quicken that pace of getting from the caverns to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So right now they're all deep underground, having to take turbo lifts up to the surface.
Let's give it a try.
And Amos is like, we're not going to be able to get the transporter beams strong enough to bring up living people, but we might be able to improve the emitters on the exterior of the ship. I mean, if we link them to, you've got some crazy sensors on board the Horizon, and we link them to the sensors, might be able to get a high enough resolution on the pattern. Won't be able to get the organic matter off, but I'm saying, let's get the artifacts up with the transporters.
Yeah,
focus on that instead of beaming up people.
Absolutely.
And Riga's like, I want to focus on beaming up the people. So the two of them are kind of at odds.
We have people down there, Riga, who are not going to want to leave their stuff behind. This is their life, their research. At the very least, maybe we can put some of these people in charge of sectioning off what is going to come onto the ship by beaming it ahead of time. so that way something's being done in this off time. They're going to be the ones who want to stay till the end anyways. May as well put them in charge of what's going to be beamed up here.
Exactly.
They're not going to want to leave. You're not going to know. You're going to have to go down there yourself and force them up here. This is our life. We dedicate our entire study and our careers to this. So they're not going anywhere.
And
at the very least, we can put them to use.
Things will go easier if we use people the way they are meant to be used.
Exactly.
Okay, so we need 3 options now, after having this little conversation, that we would like to focus in on to explore on saving time on the evacuation.
Okay.
A lot of people have proposed different ideas. You can spend some momentum, and I can throw in there's one that no one's thought of that I could show up, and I'm just going to give it to you for free.
Well, I would like to strengthen the emitters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Either from cavern to surface or surface up to the ship.
Not for people, but for the inadamants at the very least.
Right, so though that will require an EVA to get onto the external emitters to actually you want to what was Amos's plan to tie them in with the sensors?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll make them stronger and make them more accurate. It'll bring up allow you to actually get a lock on the artifacts on the surface and in the caverns, and save the journey.
So should we burn one of those momentums to know a little bit more? Is that what you were saying here?
Yeah, I mean, I have another option that Amos might be able to come up with.
Sure. I mean, that sounds good to me.
let's
What do you
burn a
guys think?
Yeah, so throw them away. So Amos is like, well, I mean, if only we could just get more things into the shuttlecraft without taking up space for the people. Maybe we can construct a bunch of hampers. And it's a little low tech, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of empty negative space up in the ceiling and the
on the top of the
walls.
ceiling.
We just fill it up with extra boxes.
Absolutely.
We could load them up in there and still get 12 or more people into the shuttles for each route.
We could definitely do that. There's extra stuff on a shuttlecraft that we don't need if we're just pulling out.
Start pulling
people.
out chairs and
Start pulling up chairs, get any of their bedding material that they would bring down there that they've been using to sleep with, use that, drape it across the entire ship, and do the best we can to start carrying things in shelves.
Yeah,
Actually, you took my idea a little step further. I like that.
Yeah, let's carve out everything we don't need from these shuttlecraft, so we have extra room to put in.
So let's write down. I got
stuff.
one idea is the emitters. The next one is the shuttle modifications, shuttle hampers. And do we have a third idea that anyone can come up with what might allow us to speed up or save some time?
Do the shuttlecraft have tractors?
Shuttlecrafts have some weak tractor beams, but it's not going to be much that's going to help you dealing with escape velocity. Like,
So we can't
you can move things
tow
around,
a bunch of stuff.
not
with
from
us.
surface to like the velocities you have to go with. And top of it, the tractor beams are probably going to have the same kind of interference that the signals from the transporters are having. There's a lot of gravimetric interference going through, and it's causing some flickering and sensor scans.
If we're having a difficulty convincing these people to leave, is there any way that we can show them an accelerated countdown?
Yeah, I mean that definitely, a countdown definitely going to get people moving a little bit faster. Maybe there's some sort of way to physically show them this is how much time you have. You need to save what you can because you can't bring it all. That's just what we're dealing with.
So
That's the
scare
reality.
tactics.
Yes.
Cool. So someone's going to get in touch with who was that? I had written their name here. Peter Taylor. Someone's going to get in touch with Peter Taylor and tell them that why don't we just tell them we have 6 hours instead of 10? You know,
Are
put
we
a fire in their ass.
lying to Taylor, or is Taylor in on it with us?
Taylor's the head of the archaeology team. Amos is the head of the Corps of Engineers with Starfleet. Okay. So Taylor's representing the civilians, and Amos is representing your, counterpart in the Federation here.
I say we lie to them.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that if it's going to get some results.
It's not, super ethical, but it's also not a war crime. So, it's pretty good for us.
I've heard you guys have been around a couple shady situations in the past.
We have quite the command crew.
Interesting. Yep, scare tactics.
Okay, someone's going to talk to. Okay, so you got your plans, you got your ideas, and Captain goes, all right, everyone get to work. As you are leaving the conference room, an intense gravity wave washes over the ship. everything's rocking around. The computer automatically switches into yellow alert. And everything, all the lights change. And the yellow alert is, it's not red alert. Is get to battle stations. Yellow alert is if you're not on duty, you are on duty now. Stand by. Everyone, be ready. And so it's like a ready state. Yellow alert. Unlike red alert, the shields will automatically go up. Yellow alert doesn't do that. Everything's just sort of like shit. You just gotta, everyone like eyes out. So the everything goes it declares into yellow alert. Shuttles will be split between for docking purposes.
Well, it looks like we're not lying to them after all.
Time is critical now. With the gravity waves are it knocks a couple of your shuttles off course, and some have to go to the McGowie instead of to the Revelation, and likewise, like they're having a hard time navigating through these like tidal effects. And the star is getting violent. The worry that we had about the unexpected acceleration is it's sort of like those early tremors of a volcano. Like oh no, that's worrying.
So now, are we still on track, or is there the idea that this potentially
we still have our
speeding
plan?
up?
We still have our plan. We have three things we want to do. Right, the transporter systems, the shuttle modifications, and the negotiations with the archaeology crew. We'll kind of handle them simultaneously.
Okay.
If we want to split up in different directions, who wants to do which?
I'll take. It makes sense. Like, it makes sense for me to take care of Taylor and then the down crew.
So you'll handle
I've
Taylor.
been knowing.
Who's handling the transporters?
I mean, I'm not a qualified engineer, but I'm not a great scientist. I could do the EVA.
The transporters, your training will tell you, is going to probably work with insight science or reason and engineering would be my defaults. Difficulties of 2 around. Any focuses in transporter systems or sensors or things like that would definitely help. The construction of work on the shuttlecrafts would likely fall under engineering and reason as well, but the difficulty will be a lot lower, only a difficulty of 1. It'll be an easier task. It's not difficult to do, it just needs to be done.
I now that I think about it, have very little engineering and science skills. I'm probably best.
Where's your reason, though, at?
My reason is 10, but my science and engineering are 2.
Yeah, so even then, your reason is quite high.
Okay.
So, and if you get, you can use your momentum you've been getting to increase your die.
Okay.
You can probably even get some of the crew members to help you, and they would give you an assist roll.
I can do the EVA.
All right, so you're going to do the EVA for the transporters?
Yeah.
And so then, Lhasa, are you heading down to look after the shuttlecrafts?
I absolutely am.
All right, cool. So let's, while we're getting a connection down to the planet, let's do the EVA. So you're like, get yourself into your suit, turn your things on.
Mag boots.
And you start heading out. Do you have any focuses in things like quantum mechanics, spatial focuses, things that might sound like that?
Nope, just experimental tech and starship design.
All right, those would definitely work.
Okay.
Transporter systems as well. It'll be a difficulty of 2 to modify the emitters on the exterior of the ship. What stats would you like to use? And because you're doing it against the ship, you're modifying the ship. The ship can't give you an assist roll.
Right. I think reason and science are my best bet of... I mean, science and engineering are both at 2, so...
Okay.
And I can use the experimental tech focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I got the 1 die. Is someone available to assist me on the ship?
Yeah, we can get people, but they're all working on evacuation duty.
Right.
It's a small crew, but we can definitely pull. You have 3 support crew, so we can get a support character rolled up that'll help you.
Even the janitor at this point, potentially.
What's that?
Even the janitor. You're ripping stuff out, I'm assuming. Is this what you're looking
So you just point at someone on the bridge, goes, "You're with me."
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Well, no, I'm not ripping stuff out. I'm setting up the sensors. For
my mistake.
the-
My
the-
mistake.
EVA.
My mistake.
So why don't we,
Well, let's roll
fellow,
up another
fellow
guy.
Ensign
Yeah.
Michael Rudsky.
Nice.
Michael Rudsky is he's going to be out there with you, sort of buddy system. He's just carrying the toolbox for you because he's like, I don't know anything about transporter systems. I'm just a replicator technician.
I make sure everything doesn't taste like broccoli.
I work in the mess hall. Make sure when you order fries, you get fries.
You'll do fine. You'll do fine.
Yeah,
Replicators and transporters are basically the same thing, Rudsky.
Yeah.
That's what they told me, but I don't think that's true. I just do the inputs. It's like a 3D printer. You scan a copy, and then it just makes the same. Did you know that if you put in one bowl of fries, it will make the identical bowl of fries for the rest of its operational lifetime unless you put in a new, completely different bowl of fries that you have made from scratch? You're just having a clone of that same bowl of fries every time.
That is fascinating.
Fascinating.
I
We
need you
have
to
more
carry
important
this-
Up,
things
you're going
to worry
up the
about.
turbo lift to the airlock. This is all going on, and Rudsky's like, this is my first away mission. This is going to be so great. I usually just don't down in the mess hall.
He's
working
got to
on the-
stay a simple like farm boy like that. He has that has to be a thing, canonical.
You're from Proxima, eh? That's really great. I'm from a big colony too. And he mentioned some like Argos 3, and it's like that's like 8 people on that place.
Yeah, it barely counts. But you carry this toolbox with me, and you just try not to look up at the void of space.
All right,
and you'll
Starfleet
find-
regulations requires that we remain tethered at all times. And he clicks a thing like right into your belt. Now you're like connected at the hip by like a 4-meter wire.
Yeah.
Boy.
Somehow I still feel crowded
on his
out
inside
in the
lights.
void of space.
Like the sound of vacuum hits
Yeah,
you.
no,
and you go up into the silence of the exterior
Just
of the
chanting
ship.
that to himself the whole time. I need that promotion. I need that promotion.
You know, life support's on, your EVA's working, and as you step out, you really see like the bright, like your visor immediately clicks into like a filter, but like the star is like it's expanded from its activity, and you can see like these great big solar flare arcs, like you'd see from ours, but like it's the kind of thing where if it was in our system, it would be reaching out and licking Venus. Like it's huge, and it's really beautiful, and it's terrifying, but. So you're on the outside of the ship, making your way to the EVA emitters. What was the role you wanted to do?
The engineering and reason.
Okay, and Rudsky can give you an assist roll here.
Okay, so
I'll roll for Rudsky.
okay, and I'm using my experimental tech focus
Which increases your advantage range,
right to 2.
which is just 2. But,
but anything helps.
does anyone want to be on comms? Does anyone have collaboration as one of their talents?
I have medicine.
Oh, collaboration medicine.
Yeah.
That would have allowed. So collaboration allows you, as long as you're assisting a player, which you could do over comm channels.
Rudsky is breathing heavily and could use some talking down.
Yeah. So Rudsky has talent collaboration science, which is why you brought him in, or collaboration engineering, because he's a replication tech. His engineering skill is 3.
Okay.
So normally by spending momentum, but in my case, I'm just gonna give myself a threat. Hang on. He's going to be able to give you. He's gonna be able to talk you through some of the jargon.
Okay.
And so you were rolling your engineering as if it was a 3.
Okay.
That's all. That's the only change.
Excellent. All right. So
Rudsky rolled an 18.
damn it, Rudsky. I rolled a 4, but that doesn't.
Doesn't give you an advantage, but you
Did you roll
Yeah.
1 4? What was your second die do?
Oh, I got a second.
Yeah, you roll 2 die, and a third one if you want to spend 1 momentum.
No, we have no momentum. That seems like a bad call. 5.
Okay, so you got 2 successes. You only
All right.
needed 2 successes. It's a difficulty of 2. I am going to spend 2 threat though when this is done. Poor Rudsky.
Uh-oh.
So
No,
you've got
Rudsky.
a difficulty of 2, number of successes over. You didn't go over, so you only got modifying the transporter emitters on the exterior of the ship is not going to succeed. The radiation from the star is frying the sensors and their ability, especially when you start opening up panels and exposing them. And on top of it, spend 2 threat. For each EVA suit, your radiation shields are failing faster than they should be because the radiation from the star is spiked, and you're taking radiation poisoning. Each person assisting the modification takes 1 to 3 radiation damage. So that's going to be done by these challenge die. So I'm going to roll them for you, and you're going to take 1 radiation damage.
Okay.
And so does Rudsky. But that extra threat, fuck it, I'll get another threat here. Those gravimetric waves that shook the ship before, and they've been like causing like transporter issues and tractor beam issues. You're fine, Brent or Armstrong. Rudsky's mag boots uncouple. Good thing he's tethered to you though, but he's like up in the air going, "Oh no, sir, because he's he's an enlisted officer. He doesn't have a rank. He's just like petty officer." And he's up there, and he's trying to pull at the tether, but like zero gravity doesn't work that way, and so he's just kind of just up there now as the ship is, and you're like you're on this like earthquake as things are kind of messed up. You could have done a little more if you'd had more successes over it, but the transporters are a dead end.
Okay.
So that's you're gonna be. Don't worry, you'll get Rudsky down.
Okay.
You're taking some damage, but meanwhile.
Okay.
You get a line to Peter Taylor. And he's coordinating with a bunch of people. He's kind of like, when people are on their phone, they got like that selfie window, and they're kind of doing that. And he's just kind of walking around, and you get that perspective of it's right in front of him, and he's yelling at people like, "Get that stuff into the cages, get this thing going!" Like, no, don't let that expose to air. It's 10,000 years old. And he's like, "What do you need?"
So is this the point where I'm lying to this man?
Yeah,
you're on with him.
You're on. You're
just like, am I? Yeah.
He's on. You're on the. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be in an office, at your duty station, on the bridge of
I think
the Revelation?
in my office.
So you're in your office down in sickbay, and you've got a direct channel to Peter Taylor, and he's just like, "What?"
Okay, listen, Taylor. We don't have enough time. Pure and simple.
And there's like dirt and stuff falling from the ceilings because there's earthquakes happening on this planet.
We don't have enough time. That's our simple reality here. And I know exactly how bad you want all this research up on board. You're going to need to do the best you can to find the most important data and start making that priority. If you're going to stay behind, if you've got people who will not leave, get them behind you to make sure that they are choosing which data is going to come up. You got to get rid of everybody else.
We're not suicidal. We're going to get off this planet as soon as we can, but we're staying as long as we can to get as much as we've learned off this planet. If anything here is lost, it will take us... We might never be able to replace what's been lost.
I understand. I don't want to lose any of that information either. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm up here, I'd be helping you down there.
Well, then I guess we're in agreement. Why are you calling me?
I guess why I'm trying to think of a plan for this. We got to start getting everybody off there. We've talked about ways about trying to make each of these shuttles a little bit more sufficient to try and store up as much of the crystals and as much of the information as we have. Can you start stripping some of these things down and start storing as much physically possible on the bottom and up in the top? Can we start making some sort of we've got Emos up here talking about some sort of hammock system.
We're archaeologists, Lieutenant, which means we're all hoarders at heart, but we'll do the best we can. And he just ends the communication lines.
Great.
The complication of the archaeologists are dragging their feet is going to be removed. They like the hamper idea and they're working on it, but that's not going to work if the hampers don't work. So down in main shuttle bay, Lhasa, you're working on the shuttles. It's a simple enough task here. It's a difficulty of 1. My default is reason and engineering. We don't have Rudsky. He's out on the exterior of the ship.
I'm fine with reason and engineering. I also I do have a little bit of a focus on small crafts.
Oh yes, that's true. Yeah.
So I feel like I was the best choice to actually succeed at
we
my
don't
task.
need that ensign
That's
pilot
hurtful
nonsense.
With my
Lieutenant.
empathy too. I totally could have tried to use empathy with Taylor, but it's okay.
Yeah. Well, did you want to roll let's just roll the clock back to that conversation. Do you want to roll any kind of presence plus blank to get an effect, and you can create an advantage?
Well, my reason is higher than my presence, to be honest. And then
Yeah, but reason's not used for people.
oh, I guess not. Okay, so we'll go with presence then.
Insight and presence would work, but
Okay.
reason is an analytical. It's reading data.
Okay.
I
get you.
specifically built these stats to not be the people person. If you remember our
Yes, you're
conversation.
right. Actually, I'm super not a people person, but I got my shit that needs to be done. So we'll go with reason then, and I guess command. I suppose. Yeah. Because I'm rolling 2 of these. I've got a 5 and an 8.
Okay, those 2 successes. So you can create an advantage. Let's say when dealing with the evacuation procedures with the archaeologists, any difficulties will be lowered by 1.
Okay.
So if it's a difficulty 2, it'll be a 1. If it's a 1, it'll be a 0. Shuttle bay. We're down there on the shuttlecraft. You're working with... you got a small team of people who are like, we're supposed to rip these chairs out?
The chairs, the benches, the throw pillows. It all has to go. This is a clearance sale. We need to make room for the people who are coming up to join us, as well as the artifacts.
So they get to work on that. You could do this reason engineering. What's your presence like, though? You could delegate.
9.
Is it any better?
It's 1 less than the reason. I'd be willing to
Okay, well, no.
delegate some of
Let's
it, but-
play to your strengths then.
Yeah.
You're rolling up your sleeves. And you're going to do the work yourself.
Yeah.
It's a difficulty of 1. It's fairly straightforward, though.
No, and a critical no.
Oh no.
So it's going to take a while before you can get any. In fact, as you're pulling stuff out, you pull out a power coupling on one of the shuttles. You get the shuttle back up and going, but you've lost an hour of having to like reset and repower and cycle through and get this thing up. It succeeds at a cost. So the complication is you just lost time.
I just want to show everybody this is what not to do. Now I'm going to get you, Henderson, to take on the next part. And I'm just going to go back here and defrag.
Really pulled in Armstrong on that one.
Thank you.
The gravity waves continue to rock the ship and knock people off their feet. Meanwhile, Rudsky, you've pulled him back down, but you're going to have to drag him because his mag boots aren't reactivating. They've been fried. And you might want to get out of here before there's anything happens to your boots.
Yeah. I get to do my towing idea after all. And I will start to
You get to drag some dead weight.
drag some dead weight. Good thing there's no gravity. And
This reminds me of being at the academy when we had to do our EVAs underwater, sir. It's just it's not as claustrophobic as being underwater, though. It's kind of like falling, but
really
in all
glad
directions.
I'm really glad Teth is in the ship and not with you right now.
In fact, Rudsky is the reason why Teth eats in his office.
just keep your eyes focused on me, and we'll make our way back inside, and you can put your feet on the ground.
The star's brightness. I just spent a threat onto the table. I'm down to 3 threat.
Oh, no.
The star's brightness increases, and your visor oversaturates, and it just goes white.
Okay.
So you can still make it to the airlock if you remember the direction to go in.
Can I combadge someone and have them be my space Google Maps?
Yep, you can combat everyone.
Yeah, so I'm going to frantically...
on your wrist. Hello? I can't see.
Need a little direction here. Quite literally, I've gone blind out here.
Rudsky's like, I can see fine, sir. What are you talking about?
Oh, God.
I can tell you where to go.
All right, Rudsky, tell me when I need to turn.
Oh, it's over. But he's drifting around you, right?
Yeah, no, he's
like,
not. Can
2
someone
o'clock? No, 4 o'clock. No,
Can someone-
6 o'clock.
on the ship tell me where I am in relation to the door and tell me which way I need to be walking? And if I start walking the wrong way, let me know.
Who'd like to be Armstrong's eyes and ears?
Sure, I guess.
Teth.
Well, you got
Lassa.
off the phone. You do.
Yeah, all right. I'm off the phone. I'll do it.
All right. So give any kind of insight or reason. You look up. You can find his location. It's not like it's a secret.
All right. 1, 2. Am I doing again? Or? Jeez. Oh shit.
Actually, no, it'd be an assist to Brent finding the airlock. It's a task
Both
roll.
of those were bad.
And I'm
so
going
am
to
I
give you
rolling
some kind of maybe a
again?
fitness plus.
My fitness
By
is
re-rolling
9.
these?
Fitness plus security.
That's 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically, it's
And he's helping me out. And
Yeah.
So team dynamics. I can use
Yeah.
that focus.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And what's values for? Because I really
And
need that
that's a
promotion.
difficulty of 2. So you need 2 successes.
I need 2 successes
Yeah. Did you get any successes
I
there?
got a success,
Jeff?
yeah.
Okay, so you got 1. You only need to roll 1 success out of yours.
out of my 2.
Yeah. No?
no.
19 and an 18.
But you know why? That's because you're a proud proxy.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, dang. Okay,
Yeah, my
so
pride is blinding
success
me.
at a cost.
Goodbye, Redsky.
No, it's you make your way.
Unclip 'em.
You guys make your way to the airlock. Oh, but you take 3 more radiation damage.
Oh man,
So add that to your stress.
I'm getting pretty lightheaded out here, guys.
You're both burning up in like it just takes you a lot longer. Again, we're just losing time.
That medicine will kick in. Later.
So
Yeah, I knew it was doctor.
you good news. You're talking to the doctor, so report to sickbay and you can get treated for that radiation poisoning, or you can work through it and solve it later. You'll be fine in a few hours. Like, you won't be fine. You need radiation treatment, but you will be fine for the next few hours. Like, don't worry, you're not gonna like lose hair until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, hurry. You won't die, but hurry.
yeah, we're doing wonderful things with radiation treatment in the 24th century, but like, yeah, your DNA is gonna unspool if you don't look after that by the time we're done evacuating the planet.
Okay, all right. So do I make it back in then?
You make it back in. Lhasa, you're down in the shuttle bay watching over as they're moving things around, and as we're getting closer again, that whispering, remember in the last episode? It's getting louder.
Is there any opportunity for me to use my strong paw to either decipher or shut it out?
Absolutely.
So that's how I would like to meditate, I guess, while I'm watching the goings on. I'd actually like to focus on, deciphering what is being said
Yeah.
and maybe some location of where
Yeah.
it's coming from.
Yeah. That could be insight or reason,
Yeah.
medicine or science.
I feel like that is an insight and medicine. I don't know that
Or
it would
even
be
science,
but
but even just
yeah.
your mind. Like, you're
Yeah.
you're trying to work your way through this puzzle. Is this, am I
Yeah.
just going nuts, or is this something that I'm actually hearing?
I'm going to use science, and I'm going to reason that because other people are not acting or reacting as if this communication is occurring for them,
Yeah.
that it is.
There's no other
it's-
telepathic species. There's no
it's centered
Betazoids
on
or
me in
Vulcans
some
on the
way.
team. Yeah, it's like you're the only one on board.
Yeah. I'm going to try and be one with nature, and yes, yeah, 2 successes in that, and then when I. So with Strong Pod, it's more of attempting a task to resist being coerced or threatened,
Yeah.
reducing the difficulty. So I don't know if that comes
I mean,
into play.
I'll
but
give it to you the success. Take a momentum
Yeah.
because you've got that. Add that to your pool. Dr. Teth, there are other empaths on board. It's not uncommon to have 1 or 2 other Vulcans on board, especially on a science ship. And you're getting reports that these other 2 crew members are like hearing things too. And for a Vulcan who might be losing their mind, that's disconcerting. No, not emotional, but just it's a concern. And they've sending reports to the medical team. And I mean, if you want to share this kind of stuff, like maybe as it's going, you're down there. The sound is coming from like it always sounds like it's coming from just the other side of the wall, like it's coming from outside, and there's something there, and it's far away, but it's gotten louder, and it's not like a single whisper now. It's starting to sound more like a chorus.
Yeah.
And to the point where it's like it's less and less easier to ignore.
Yeah, Doctor, I'm going to need to I'll need some treatment.
Absolutely. We're starting to get a couple other reports, so it seems as though you're not alone here, at least.
That is exactly how I feel. I am not alone, but I don't understand these voices.
All right, well, we're going to absolutely have to do some scans as soon as we can.
There's a method in the game rules called scientific method that we can dive into in the next episode if this is something of interest. That's 3 steps. There's an observation step. It falls onto it's a task to just observe what is happening, and step 2 is to hypothesize and find what the right way is. You give a couple of ideas, similar to what we were doing there with the engineering problem. And then step 3 is testing against those ideas. And any ideas that are wrong is just lost time until you strike oil. So yeah, the two of you are like, okay, there's something here to begin, and there is a process that we can go through. It would just be at the expense of
Other things.
Yeah. Meanwhile, up on the bridge, we'll wrap up this episode. McGowie reports to Captain Riga. They're at crew capacity. They're full. Looking at the numbers, things have been slowing down on Revelation, but everyone who's left on the planet, you have the capacity to take. So the gravimetric storms are getting worse, and our ship isn't as rugged as yours. We're getting out of here. We're going to take what we have and leave, and we'll rendezvous outside the system. It's about a 4-hour journey by warp.
Can they take some of the artifacts with them?
They've taken everything they can. They're at capacity now. They're saying their ship is full. Their shuttles are drained, and they can't take any more room. But looking at what is left on the surface, everything that's left you should be able to handle. And they'll leave 2 shuttles behind to help with the movement, and you can redirect those shuttles. You won't be able to bring them all with you, but you can rotate them around, so you get a little bit of a faster turnaround.
That's great.
And Lieutenant Amos is just like, good luck, Godspeed. We'll meet you at the rendezvous point. And the McGowie warps out. Just about the same time that a massive graviton wave shoots out of the star. I'm speeding through things because we're out of time on this episode. As it warps out, the star gives kind of like what was out there when Armstrong was on the exterior of the ship, a flash of another light and a ripple of gravimetric disturbance go through space-time, right? It just goes through the whole ship. Everywhere you're down in the shuttle, you're in your office, you're coming into the whole ship kind of groans as it ripples, like the effect going through the hallways. People are kind of knocked off their feet. And so we're still a few hours away from that point of no return. And you've got the shuttles now with the hampers moving. Things are moving along faster. And the gravity wave goes through the ship's hull. You hear the structure groaning. And where you are, depending up on the bridge, they get a call. The main computer announces the lights kind of go off, and there's EPS conduits going across, and the engineering reports up. Captain, I know you want to get out of here as soon as that countdown hits that point of no return, but we got a bigger problem. And it goes down to engineering, the camera following. Warp core is offline.
Oh, absolutely brilliant.
You're drifting in orbit around Troy U2. And stellar collapse just hours away.
What's that old human saying? Murphy's Law?
Should I go back outside again?
I thought you meant the old Earth saying oh shit.
You go to rub your forehead last and
I'm familiar with that one.
The voices inside my head agree.
We're going to need to know if they're getting worse or not. And why?
They are, yes.
Join us next week.
Yay.
Episode 3. You'll be fine. You'll get out of here.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever.
In pieces.
So you're
been a real great game,
you're
guys.
drifting without warp power. Stars it's only going to go supernova in 3 hours.
Been in
It's
worse
fine.
scraps. It's fine.
Yeah, you're doing great. You're handling the situation very well. Thank you for getting to know our characters so that I can vaporize you all in the next hour.
Poof.
I have been your game master, Justin Ecock, leading us back through the Star Trek Adventures game. This is a weird adventure. It's a little different, a little more out there because the threats are so much more Nebulous, yeah. We will break those down in our post-gaming debrief. I don't really mention it outside of episodes 1 and 4, but we after every campaign, we record a debrief that we post on our Patreon page. So if you'd like to hear, like, what was the process of that one, that's what it's there for. Anyone at the $5 or higher mark. That poll I was mentioning, any support. If you give us $1, you can participate in the poll. Just $1, you'll be able to join us on Discord and listen to our recordings. But for $5, you need, in order to be able to get our debrief episodes a little bit higher, we'll send you a postcard in the mail, and a little bit higher than that, you get all of those rewards, plus you get to join me for a private game. We actually did play through Star Trek Adventures last month, and I think this month we're going to be playing Masks. It's going to be really fun. That's it. That's the pitch. I'm the Game Master, but the Game Master would be no one. No master of any game without their play masters.
Brent Morris from the Showhole Podcast.
Velvet Duke from The Dandies and Holodeck Follies.
Neil Tavares of Neil T. Tattoos.
We'll see you next week for Act 3, Life is Light and Death. Oh, wait, no, wait, I messed it up.
Yeah.
Light is life and death. All right, cool. Whatever. I'm not editing that out. I know what I did. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
The Terrible Warriors has new episodes out every Tuesday. And next week, the final episode to the Star Trek Living campaign, We Are the Stars. Oh, yeah, that star's gonna blow up a little bit ahead of schedule. Don't worry, we've got something planned for the end of the month before we start our next story. And our next story, of course, is going to be a return to Masks. You voted for it, and we're going to play it. If you want to choose which game we'll release on the podcast in January, the one we're going to record next month, head over to our Patreon page right now, terriblewarriors.com/Patreon. There you can vote if you're a supporter of any amount on our next game that we're going to play. And if you want to contribute a little bit more, we also have special debrief episodes that we release exclusively on Patreon. We'll send you a postcard in the mail, and we run private games every month for that top tier of support. And no matter how much or how little, or even if you don't spend any money at all, but you like, you subscribe, you leave a review, and you tell your friends, thank you for supporting the Terrible Warriors for so many years. We really wouldn't do this without you. Follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors, and check the show notes to follow everyone who was on this episode as well. Trust me, you want to become friends with them too. And those people, those Terrible Warriors, the crew of the Revelation, Brent Morris, Velvet Duke, Neil Tavares, and Game Master Justin Ecock. Oh, hey, that's me. We'll see you next week. The final episode in this month's campaign, right here on the Terrible Warriors.